Thanks for tuning into the Salt Block. If you like this video, hopefully you like the others. Feel free to like, follow, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Welcome back to the Salt Block, where information that is generally conveyed is not the norm. It is very abnormal, but it's very good because the things that you generally don't hear in the media and from other sources as well. Today we'll look at the planned destruction of America using our current political leaders, both to the left and to the right. It is plainly done in your sight. The question is, can you see it? What's happening? America must be destroyed. We set up the North American Union. The North American Union combines Mexico and Canada with the U.S., which is part of the bigger picture of the Club of Rome. The Club of Rome decided in the 1950s it was create a structure to eliminate the 212 nations of the world, rather making 10 regions easy for them to control. America is the problem. We have a constitution that is undaunted, nothing like it in human history or in the world. It must be destroyed. The best way to destroy it is to have the people and the politicians do it themselves. Not from without, but rather from within. And that's what's happening today. That was the plan and prayer, even as a communist leader of Khrushchev back in the 1961-62, when it says, "I will destroy America without firing a shot." America will implode from the inside, not from the outside. So let's look how this is being accomplished. Number one, they have put all three branches of government against themselves. Rather than have a check and a balance, they're all going against one another. For example, the executive branch both enforce the laws, right? However, it is now making laws. Congress is supposed to make the laws. It is now trying to enforce the laws. The justices, the Supreme Court, they're supposed to interpret the laws that Congress makes. But what the Justice Department doing is also with liberal, radical judges. They are activist judges who are trying to make laws through judicial decrees. Now we have a confusion going on. And a lot of the black preachers are resonating and saying these things because they flunk history. They don't know nothing about civics and probably very little about the Bible. Because in essence, the president does not make the laws per se. He can only enforce them. But things are being muddied. But in order for Trump to totally take over America, he would have to use all six branches of the military to sequester and take over Congress, put them under house arrest, just like you do in third world countries for that to happen. And I don't think that's going to happen. With that being said, some are saying that when they become president, like Kamala Harris, when she's going to change the economy, it's the Federal Reserve that changes the economy. And the only thing she and also Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Alexander Cortez are doing is taxation. And the government does not make any money. It only gets its money through your taxes. So they want to kill you, destroy the middle classes with your taxes. When the middle class is destroyed, because the rich, yes, they don't pay a lot of taxes because they control by the oligarchs, and they control these politicians, right? And you know how many of your politicians are millionaires also? You might want to investigate that, especially in the Democrat and Republican Party. And these former presidents are living quite large. Obama has 3 mansions. Where did he get these $1 million mansions from? Who gave him the money for that? In other words, guys, don't be deceived. God is not mocked. Do your due diligence. Do not look at personalities. Do not look at parties. Examine their policies. So this is what they're doing. Number one, since the Federal Reserve controls the economy by controlling the interest rates, it will control up or down how this nation moves. But also, we owe the Federal Reserve with $35 trillion. We're in debt. We're so in debt, Humpty Dumpty cannot put us back together again. So, how are they going to deal with the economy? They want to bankrupt us, giving free money, yes, to all the illegal immigrants, giving free money. Also, to anyone that wants to go to college, free money in healthcare. Who's going to pay for this? It means taxation. It means taxation. Nobody gets off the hook. We're all with a po house. Yes, we all be made poor because there will be no middle class. The poor will always be with us, and the rich will always be rich. And that's sort of small, maybe 1%. The rest of the rich, they can lose their money too. Nobody's going to have any money when they're done with us. That is the purpose of communism. Everybody will be under control. You see, in order to set this new world order up, people don't really realize that Congress actually run like the mafia. The party bosses, special interest groups, the oligarchs who control the special interest groups are the handlers. You probably remember last year when Mitch McConnell, when he was standing for the podium and he had a moment where he just froze for about maybe 30 seconds, lifeless, motionless. And his handler came and tapped him on his arm, and then he woke out of his trance. You don't know how many of your political leaders are, in a sense, special candidates, maybe Manchurian or one other, how they are actually controlled zombies in the office being dictated what they must do. Republicans and Democrats all having handlers. George Bush announced the New World Order with his invasion of Iraq, on the Desert Storm. George Bush created also the world's first global army, the global army called the multinational forces during this episode, under the auspices of United Nations. The Republican Party recently had been disarray, kicking out, getting rid of their Speaker of the House. Yes, Republican Party. The Democratic Party are pretty tight. They don't do such things, right? The Tea Party broke away from the Republican Party because they know the Republican Party was in cahoots with the Democratic Party. There's only one bird, not two. But the Tea Party's kind of died out. We still have about 25 various, conservative Republicans that are there, but they are right now being rejected by the majority. You got 535 members of Congress, but you only see about 20 of them, and they are the elite. They are the ones that are put forth to control, keep the other, 400 and 515 or so, 510 in line. Congress is run like the mafia, right? They're just controlled like a slave plantation. They're being told what to do. And their goal, whether they're Masons or whether they're Roman Catholic or whether they're other, their goal is to take this nation down, to establish a new world order. This Gestapo-type communist regime that they're trying to create, especially the Democratic Party, a projectionism, whereby which they claim that Republicans are the power of the rich. Republicans are doing this here when they're both controlled by the same people, billionaires, whether George Soros or Rupert Murdoch. It does not matter. They're all controlled by the same people, and they all work together. There have been 2 assassinations on President Trump, 2 thus far. And you know what? They've been trying systematically to eliminate him as a viable candidate, as there's a war going on between Godzilla, you might say King Kong, one faction of the Illuminati versus the other. As they're fighting one another, the war is going on. We're seeing the remnants of it, right, between the political parties. Trump is never with any of the other presidents, whether Democrat or Republican. He's never with the Bushes. He's never with Obama. He's never with, Carter. He's never, who's right now 100 years of age. He's never with the Clintons, right? He's never with the Bidens. He's never with any of them because he is a one faction versus the other. And so there's a war going on who will control America and the New World Order and all their handlers. Biden had been using Homeland Security, the FBI, and the Justice Department and to create what is called a disinformation governance board. That's called the new agency that they now have disbanded because of so much flack, called the DGB. In other words, a communist type style situation to eliminate all those who oppose the government policies and speak ill of the government, to destroy your First Amendment rights and destroy your Fourth Amendment rights as well, surveillance and also spying on its citizens, including with Trump using the FISA courts. Hillary Clinton did, Obama and Biden, the FISA court, the secret espionage courts, to get warrants, secret warrants to spy on the Trump campaign so they can take him down. This went on for 3.5, 4 years, and Clinton, none of them were ever indicted. The courts never brought charges against them, the FBI, or any of them that came up with these frivolous charges to bring down a political candidate, which is done commonly in third world and communist countries. The Democratic Party also recently shut down and eliminated all potential political candidates, all candidates to go against Joe Biden. They would not allow anyone to run against them, including one of their own Democratic candidate, Robert Kennedy Jr. And they denied him protection, from the Secret Service initially until after Trump's first assassination, and now now that he's joined the Republican Party, it's all drama, it's all situation that's happening. It's unfolding for our very eyes as the two birds, should I say one bird with two wings, are going together to fan and corral the masses every way they want them to go, to move them and shift them, and you don't even know how you're being moved. The trigger words like racism, and most people don't even know what the word racism means. Yeah, all it is that you believe that you're racist superior. That's all it means. What you do, you may be discrimination, there may be, you may have maybe prejudice, but all those are not racism. That's just other acts. Be prejudiced about many things. You can discriminate over many things, all right? You have stereotypes about many different types of people. Most American people are so ignorant. Trigger words are used to cause them to believe whatever they want to, or fear, fear that this is going to have fear mongering that this person becoming the president, this is going to happen, when they don't have the authority, the power, or the jurisdiction to do such things. We have also Hollywood, George Clooney, and the political donors financially blackmail Joe Biden with the help of Pelosi, Obama, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, and others, so you will not continue to run for president in the 2024 election. This was an overthrow of your current president to get him out of office quietly without invoking the 25th Amendment, which is in case the president is meant incompetent, cannot serve, he can be removed from office. Trump was accused of being a racist for enforcing the 2006 Secure Fence Act. Yes, that's how the racist idea came about. Hello, was it not Hillary and Obama that voted for it as senators? And was it not George Bush, Republican, that signed into law? And 10 years later, in 2016, Trump becomes president. He wants to enforce it. And now he becomes a racist for something that Congress did, do his job. His job is what? To enforce the law. It's amazing how ignorant American people are, and also how they use everybody's lack of knowledge or political parties to divide and conquer this nation. You may not remember how Hillary Clinton used her private servers, for to give Russia and China perhaps many of our top secret documents, and she was never charged with anything. And Comey had the FBI, and then the Justice Department under administration decided not to press charges also against Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State. The wicked always cover for themselves, but the righteous they want to put in jail. Hillary also, her movement to support Uranium One, giving Russia 20% of all of our uranium to make nuclear devices. What are these people doing with China and Russia, all of our former leaders? The January 6th committee, you know what, if you want to have a coup or overthrow of government, if I were the president, I would have to make sure there's a real coup. A real coup is when you get the military to surround Congress, and also all your get the Pentagon and everything else to be dispatched to take over the nation. Having a rinky-dink few people attack the Capitol building, right, with the government itself is helping incite it, and having a January 6th committee with no Republicans to do the due diligent investigation so that the assets used by the government not be exposed, who in a sense fomented that particular riot. It was a good theater act. Don't be deceived. You would have a coup. You use military. You don't use nobodies with nothing. All right, and busting windows and breaking into a building. This is all a stage act, because if they wanted to take out all those people, they could have easily done that without firing a shot. I won't say nothing more about that. I will say right here how that the criminalization of the American officials is undaunted. As we see national security, how the government is using all of its assets to psychologically control the American masses. How the Bush administration is yet to explain how Building 7 collapsed in the World Trade Center Tower complex. Building 7, about almost 8 hours after the Twin Towers came down, it came down in seconds. How did that happen without a plane hitting it? There's a lot of unanswered questions. The Bushes, in a sense, started 3 wars with Saddam, arrested Manuel Noriega, president of the nation, put him in jail in Miami? Yes, he did. Manuel Noriega, right? Bushes. Also, they did Bin Laden, all former agents of the Bush administration. And they became my enemies. Bin Laden, the war to defeat Russia, the Russo-Russian War, Manuel Noriega, all the stuff that the Bush administration did in Latin South America through him, and then Saddam Hussein, all of what America did, in Iraq, using him as their agent as well. So we really don't know who was our real enemy when seeing our enemies, our president, make their friend and support them in their policies. Obama alleged assassination and removal of the body of Bin Laden, one of their fraternal brothers. Bin Laden, yes, he was part of the order. Clinton, Bill Clinton would pimp out the Lincoln bedroom in the White House for political donation to his campaign. And with the Clinton Foundation, they did the same thing worldwide to world leaders, Hillary and Bill Clinton, but they were never prosecuted for anything. I'm just amazed how the people in America are so blinded and so loyal to a party that they don't really know what's going on in their own country. So when the country goes down, the globalists will laugh at Americans and say, you deserve what you got because you were so caught up in your dystopian illusions and in your fixations with sex, drugs, and non-reality and social media that you never paid attention to what's really going on. Al Gore, on behalf, of the Clintons, received money at the Buddhist temple there in California, from China. And we had also Al Gore in his book back in 1992, Earth in the Balance, began to promote the idea of global warming, which was necessary. You need global warming, you need global terrorism, you need all the global things the global government must fight against to create a global unity. Global unity against attack of aliens for our representative alien attacks there in the United Nations. You have all these things that are created to justify the existence of a global government. Global warming means that in the future, nobody will own private property because the world government must own it through the United Nations to save Mother Earth, Gaia, whom Al Gore worshiped, and he became a billionaire as a result of his campaign to promote that idea. All right. And so what we have is that an interesting thing, how in showing our Constitution. Well, what about his second impeachment trial? Well, it was officiated by the head of the Senate, and rather than by what the Constitution says, by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. But they put Leahy there, but Leahy voted against him first time to impeach him. Then he served as the judge in the second impeachment. And then after stepping down from being the judge in the second impeachment, he then joined the Senate again to vote to impeach him. I mean, what a trial. What a trial that was. And America loved that. You loved it because you hated Trump so much because you've been told to hate him because he is the opposite and they need that narrative to divide and conquer us all, you see. See? Amazing. Oh, by the way, his second impeachment trial, Trump was already out of office. How you move someone out of office that's already gone? I mean, don't you see the idiocy of all this here? Are you that blind that you can't see you hate somebody that bad that don't care what happened? The end justify the means? Okay. All right. The first impeachment of Trump by Pelosi, Schumer, Adam Schiff, Dianne Feinstein, and Nadler was all a charade. All a charade. It's all drama. Biden recently had his Justice Department been indicted for indictments. Indictments is charges. That's not a conviction. Even when he had a conviction in New York, that was done by an activist judge who broke all forms of protocol. And the Supreme Court has put them on notice to do a fair and equitable trial for what is called due process. And so right now, America is waiting the balance. When will American people wake up? Knowing that we're supposed to have a government of the people, for the people, and by the people, as Lincoln said, so it will not perish from the earth. Are we about to perish from the earth? What is your stance right now as we are weighing the balance? Will we live, we will die as a nation? The life expectancy of a nation, 240 years. We're already there. We're already there. As America's about to go. Biden administration, oh my goodness. And Harris, 10 million illegal aliens in America. Housing, giving them housing, food, education, jobs, money, and things that are denied to American citizens. The Biden-Harris administration giving illegal alien transportation, bus and plane fare to strategic locations throughout the U.S. I wonder why these areas strategic and what are they doing? Allowing sleeper cells for Chinese nationalists, Russians, Hamas, and many other agents to come in our country to take position. What's about to happen to America? Allowing drugs to come across our border, fentanyl and many other drugs, to kill American citizens. What is happening to America? Sex trafficking and also children. Some 300,000 children that disappeared, that checked in, but no one knows where they are in America and probably used in some form of sex trafficking or violation amongst the predators in our nation, whether it be in Congress or elsewhere. Sanctuary cities and states, illegal entities, totally violation of the Constitution, giving haven to criminals who come invade our country, and yet the American citizens' due process and rights are being abated. Flash mobs going into stores, and then they're robbing and taking people their goods, but yet they're not being prosecuted. As long as maybe a certain level of theft is tolerable and okay, throwing down and destroying American middle class and business people. Kamala Harris, financing anarchist organizations such as Antifa and Black Lives Matters, and even seemingly, some say even Hamas. What's going on and what's happening in America? Biden, Harris, allowing aliens to kill and rape citizens in the U.S. without prosecution? What's going on in America? You see, treaties and things are being signed, things are happening in China, things are happening in Russia, and our political leaders are compromised and seem to be working with China and Russia to demise of our nation. Biden and Obama gave Middle East terrorist organizations all of our military hardware and our military bases in Iraq and in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan to China. Beat that. Gave it all to them. Almost $1 trillion worth. Obama helped Egyptian and Libyan terrorist groups take office in their respective countries to support the theocratic regime of their nations. Biden and Obama gave billions of dollars in cash funds to Iran, all right, to support Hamas, Hezbollah, and all the terrorists round about. Then we turn around and also support Israel against them? What is happening in America? God's people, wake up. Biden and Obama allowed Russia, in particular, to take Crimea. Then Biden allowed Russia to take and invade Ukraine. What is going on with our political leaders? Biden received $8 million for a book deal for a top secret agent that he gave, top secret documents rather, that he gave his ghostwriter. He was not prosecuted, charged with treason, in all 11 locations, all the top secret documents that he had scattered all over America. He was not charged because he was, I guess, called mentally incompetent, yet he is still president of the United States. Who is running our country and what is happening to America? Biden export Ukraine's president, and he actually, not export, but he extorted. He extorted the president of Ukraine to say, call the prosecutor and the dogs off Hunter. Otherwise, Obama would not give you that $1 billion loan guarantee. Extortion and a peaceful offense, but nothing never happened. Hunter Biden and family and the Clinton Foundation, all in bed with China and other countries. But yet, they all pass top security clearance, have documents, and work. Well, maybe China and Russia are not really our enemy. Maybe their fraternal brothers are all working together to create the New World Order, working through these entities collectively together. And this is all the ruse for us just to ferment war. Are you confused? I don't know if I'm confused, but something's not right somewhere. Somebody tell me something. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Biden supports Russian pipeline, all right, and destroys and cut off all oil drilling in America to make us no longer energy independent, but make it dependent on the Middle East and other countries around the world. We have all the natural resources we need to run our country and export it all over the world. Finally, in the area of finances, let everybody know the strikes that are going on. Well, legally, corporations are only legally responsible to help one group of people, and that is, of course, the shareholders. That's according to the law and the Constitution. However, it is these shareholders that keep the companies afloat and also the companies that employ the workers. And so there's always going to be this clash and this fight between the bourgeoisie versus the proletariat. As Marx said, they must overthrow. And there's the two will fight. And at the end of the day, both will be destroyed. And you will have the thesis versus the antithesis to produce the synthesis, which is the New World Order. Yes, government and corporatocracies like with had in Italy under Mussolini, under fascism, the government control everything. And you have to worry about, yes, we'll all have equal. No one would be rich. Everybody would be poor. Under socialism, Margaret Thatcher said, the problem with socialism is that when you run out of money, there's no money left. We're going to take all the people's money, tax you to death. You can't survive. All right? Without $35 trillion deficit right now, if I took all the money from every billionaire in America, every millionaire, confiscated, it would not pay the $800 billion, $800 billion, yes, $800 billion interest debt payment that I do every day on $35 trillion. If it took all their money, it wouldn't put a dent in it. And so taking money from the rich and to tell the ignorant poor who understand very little about finance and economics, don't look at the news report, don't have very little financial literacy, can easily be manipulated and say the Republican Party, the power of the rich. You know how many Democrats are millionaires, including Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, head of the Senate, former Speaker of the House? These are millionaires. How can Obama afford a couple $1 million homes? What is he doing on the side? Who's patenting their pork barrel? Giving them money. How do they get where they are? Democrats and Republicans. I'm just amazed that American people are so gullible. The goal of the social regime is to destroy America, lead to a global dictatorship, a new world order. That is your plan, and it's working very well. I pray your eyes have been opened. I'm just asking questions. Hope you can find some answers. When you do, come back and tell me what the answer may be. But I hope it's not too late, because when you find the answer, if the things I'm saying are true, there will be America as you know it today anyway. It won't exist. Bye-bye. So long. Goodbye. America as you know it today. This is the Salt Block. I hope we've checked out your mind this time. Pray for America and pray for yourself. In Jesus' name.
Thanks for joining the Salt Block. If you like the content that you just heard, feel free to follow along by hitting any of the in-card links above. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Most importantly, leave some comments, hit that notification bell.